An Arkansas Republican House candidate shared and then removed a controversial Facebook post. Lawmakers across the state are speaking out about the comments. 5 News reporter Juliana Clipson has more.
64-year-old John Latour, an Arkansas Republican House candidate for District 86, posted this comment to Facebook last week. Antifa and Black Lives Matter are now saying they are coming to the country. I wonder what the bag limit is and where I can purchase a riot idiot hunting license. It was removed on Monday after being up for several hours. Those screenshots are still being shared across social media platforms. Latour did not return our request for comment on the post. Latour's opponent, incumbent Democrat Nicole Clowney, shared a message that included comment about the post saying in part, "Hunting human beings is never self-defense and violence is never a joke." Arkansas Democrats and Republicans have been weighing in on Latour's post.
We don't need that kind of rhetoric,
said Congressman Bruce Westerman.
It's beneath all of us, but it's certainly beneath someone who purports to want to represent a group of people and be a leader in government,
said the Arkansas Democrat Party's chairman. Many commented on Latour's post saying he should be able to say what he wants. Others, like Bridge the Gap NWA, say it affects the community as a whole.
When you got leaders in the community saying things like this blatantly and blatantly disrespecting the black community, then it makes everybody else feel as if they can do the same exact thing.
In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Juliana Clipson, 5 News.
The chairman for the Republican Party of Arkansas issued a statement, quote, "I think Mr. Latour's comments on Facebook were very inappropriate and clearly show a lack of critical thinking. It should go without saying that the views of one House candidate do not reflect the views of Arkansas's majority party. We are 49 days away from one of the most consequential elections in modern history and are focused on November."